All right. So here it is. The first casualty of war. This is the hemp plant I was growing. And it was growing fine until today, when for some reason, it fucking was like this. Would anyone like to explain to me why Carl tried to fucking bitch me and why some feminist ass motherfucking bitches were talking shit behind my back and acting all fucking mean at the Master Gardeners program? And now this. Anyone want to explain this motherfucking shit? Why is everyone turning against me when I'm just trying to do what I'm trying to do? Huh? Is this what you want to die over? Seriously? You think I want this? You think I want this? I can't grow one motherfucking plant without someone fucking it up. You know what I think I need to make this grow properly? Your corpse as fertilizer. Is that where we're going with this? We can't just be normal people? You realize civilizations have ended before, right? Over this exact sort of fucking thing. If I'm not mistaken, you all planned this out. This is what you want. This is what you want from me. You want me to indiscriminately kill everyone involved with this. Starting with the first person in the gardening community who decided that they didn't need to listen to me. And then extending to the people who perpetuated that treatment against me. And you're also hoping that I target those who are not responsible because you think that I have no discipline. You think that I don't know the difference between indiscrimination directed at targets versus indiscrimination directed at innocents. Carl, why is my hemp plant dead, Carl? You know what the fuck this fucking hemp plant's name was? Let's see, what was its name? Robert Paulson. This hemp plant is Robert Paulson. His name was Robert Paulson. So nothing that I've done has garnered any respect. Nothing that I've done has provided any value for anyone. I don't deserve any support. But then again, neither do you. It's survival of the fittest, and cruelty rules the earth. And your opinion doesn't mean shit. And I'm not listening to you because I don't have to. But here's a question, Carl. If your opinion doesn't mean shit, then why do you have an asshole? Sounds like you don't need it. His name was Robert Paulson. And if you people keep trying to make me crash out on my family, I'm going to show you that last little bit of code in my genetics. And it's not my asshole. It's yours. His name was Robert Paulson. And yeah, I'm aware it could have just died of dehydration. But I'm making a point about the way people communicate with me. I'm making a point about double standards and about the existence of slavery in America and what a police state means when martial law does not follow the hierarchy, the natural hierarchy, and what it means to not be supported by those who are supposed to be supporting me, and what it means to force people into servitude when they should be the ones being served. It's very important that you understand this point, because this plant is what you're going to look like if you don't understand this point. How do I know? I've looked like this before, bitch. Do you know how many times I've been slumped, motherfucker? And you're treating me like a piece of shit? Do you know how hard I'm trying to cooperate with you and be nice? I don't think you realize. I don't think you realize what I'm capable of. And how much this affects me. Not because I'm mad at you, but because I'm sad that my plant is dead. And I'm looking at all the possibilities as to why this has happened. And none of them point to me doing anything wrong. Even if this thing died of overhydration, I didn't do that wrong. This plant died of overhydration because it couldn't absorb all the water that I gave it. I didn't flood the motherfucking soil. I gave it a very reasonable amount of water, considering the climate that this sort of thing might be in. I can't really call it a weak seed because I got it from a plant that was fully grown. So either there's foul play, or I'm just constantly getting the shit end of the stick with no one fucking helping me. Which is essentially foul play. And if you knew how much I've struggled and how hard I've worked and the quality of the product that I've created, not just with reference to this shit, like, you know, for example, music, or perhaps the protocols that I've provided. Then you would understand why this is so upsetting to me. And if you don't understand that, then you don't stand a motherfucking chance if I try to take it out on you. So I'd suggest you get hip quickly. Because this is not a threat, it's a promise. If it was a motherfucking threat, my father would have kicked me out the house and I would not be here recording this right now. Because that's how I behave. However, there is a concern that I might actually motherfucking kill someone. Not out of being wrong, not out of not being skilled enough in my therapy. Through no fault of my own, there is a potential possibility that there will be a tragedy. We are all working as hard as we can, or at least, you know, when I say we all, I would like you to include yourself in that. We all are working as hard as we can to prevent tragedy. And if you are not working, and I don't mean like the song that I made called Tragedy. I mean actual motherfucking tragedy where people in my community are going to be laid to rest at my hands. Because you're taking advantage of my mental health. You're taking advantage of me. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. You didn't hear a single thing I said. You don't have to listen to me, right? Well, guess what? None of this ever happened to you. Right? Which means there's no problems, right? For you. Until it's too late. His name was Robert Paulson. Notice how I'm not saying his name was Carl. This isn't Carl. Carl didn't do this. Or did he? Is this Carl's doing? I shouldn't have to worry about that. These sorts of coincidences shouldn't be happening. So for now, this plant's name is Robert Paulson. Do you understand? I would like to not have a conflict with Carl. Sure, confronting issues such as with one another moving forward. Con meaning with, front meaning forward. And to be correct is nice. So, with all of those involved, I would like to move forward as I lay this plant to rest. And I want you to understand that my emotions stem from being highly sensitive and empathetic and are not simply based on a broken ego, although there is some of that at play. Okay? So maybe let's listen to each other. Maybe let's act like human beings, and let's not fuck each other's plants up, because guess what I can do now that this has happened? I don't care. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to respect you unless you want to listen to me and respect me. Money doesn't mean shit when you're fucking 6 feet deep, bitch. Your fucking policies ain't shit when it comes down to it, motherfucker. But remember, you don't have to listen to me. So this isn't even happening to you unless you want to understand where I'm coming from. His name was Robert Paulson. And if feminism isn't serving me, it's not feminism. If you are mocking me simply for wanting to be involved, then you're not a feminist. You're an imposter, and you're evil. And I can be evil too. I just choose not to. But if you take away my autonomy by mocking me and lowering my social standard in a significant sense where I should be considered someone who is a leader, then I can't help you. I don't want to help you because you're not a person. Because you're not treating me like one. His name was Robert Paulson. And I'm playing by all the rules here. I am. And things are getting worse. So now it's your turn to explain. And stop using the fucked up narrative. Because if your explanation doesn't fix it, then it's time for you to go. You got that? I'm absolved here. Sure, consequences come as they may and they go as they may. But as long as I'm doing what I'm being asked to do, if something goes wrong, it's not my fault. Here's a little bit of insight for you to explain where in your terms, where does he get off lecturing us? Well, let me explain. Fault. What is a fault? It is a rift, right? Okay. And the vagina is a rift, okay? So if I have done all this work putting my disabled penis into many faults, right? And yet they were not mine, and I was playing by the rules, if you catch my drift. The rules have changed over time. But the whole time, every time, I always acquiesce. I go back to baseline. His name was Robert Paulson. And so if it's not my fault and I put in all that work, well, then I should not be held accountable, and I'm not. That's why I don't have an account like that. You see what I'm saying? So if you're being held accountable, you're continuing to double down on innocence, well, then you should be aware that that has the same consequence every time. And that I deserve a better life than having to enact that consequence on other people. And in case you're wondering what the possible outcomes of that could be, one example is that you can ask Sonia what happens when you torture me. Go ahead and ask her. She'll probably lie to you, by the way, which is why it happened in the first place. But you'll probably get enough information from it. If you really look at the situation, you'll understand that wasn't my fault. You see what I'm saying? So when When are we going to let Robert Paulson live? Which iteration of Robert Paulson is going to survive? Because this is unacceptable. And if you hit me with that, the temptation was too great shit again, I'm going to show you that it goes both ways. Okay? If we talk about the nature of the beast, if we do any of that with reference to excusing behavior which harms me, I'm not going to be the only one who's being harmed anymore. And that's not a threat. I don't want you to be harmed. I don't want me to be harmed. I'm just telling you how it works. I've been thinking about it very carefully. Ever since I was told I don't know how it works. Very carefully. I was already thinking about it very carefully, and I was quite positive that that's how it worked. And what happened does not work for me. So what I realized is that I was abused again. I was robbed at gunpoint. And my cooperation was used against me. And that these scenarios are just being piled on top of me in hopes that I break because you people don't want to take responsibility for your actions. For example, where's my certificate from Nova for the light maintenance and repair? There have been multiple different answers about the timeline, and it's still not here. And it should have been here already. We have another little bit of time since the revised timeline, the third iteration of the timeline. But it's still not here. Another example. How come I was told I had to pay for my transcript from Georgetown for the summer class that I took? And then after I paid for it, by the same person who directed me to the place where I had to pay for it, after that, they provided a record that indicated that I did not get a credit, that I did not get a passing, or what seems to be did not get a passing acknowledgement. And that wasn't indicated on the one that I paid for. So is that just an insult? It's just an insult. In fact, I remember explicitly I aced the test. And then afterwards, through negligence on law enforcement's part, I was put in a compromising position. And my health was affected negatively. And yet I received a below-level grade when I did the work. And then I was attacked. If you want to put it that way, attack, it's pretty obvious I was attacked. The people involved should have been responsible, and they weren't. And I couldn't be held responsible because I was a minor. And this looks very similar to the brain injury. And it's a lot of other things. And his name was Robert Paulson. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go plant this back in the little pot. And it's probably going to die. It's probably already dead. And I have a vision in my mind's eye of someone walking up to my little pot and going boop and breaking it. And breaking this plant. I want you to know that if someone did that, that I want you to be aware that that could happen to you. I don't want it to happen to you. I want you to be aware that that could happen to you. And if nobody did that, I would like to have access to seeds which produce plants which do not do this under the conditions which I presented to them. And in the future, I would like an acknowledgement that if I'm speaking to you and you're expecting me to listen to you when you're speaking to me, then you are expected to listen to me when I speak to you. And if you cannot do that, then your survival is not guaranteed. I want you to understand that. And I want you to understand that I'm very forgiving, but I'm being placed under a lot of stress. And my life has been threatened when I did not threaten anyone else's life. And if this continues and I continue to do the right thing, that other people will also suffer consequences. And I would like to avoid that outcome, please, because it traumatizes me every time. You people think I enjoyed disabling Sonia in that moment. It's false. I did not enjoy that. I frankly don't even enjoy the sexual aspect of it. I'm just good at it. I would like to, but that's a whole different conversation. One that should be separate from people trying to hold power over me. Do you understand how this rolls around to the R word? Because his name was Robert Paulson. I'm very disturbed. I would like your cooperation with returning to normal. Real normal. One of the things that I need in order to feel normal is an opportunity to have access to resources in a manner equivalent to which I have worked and produced content of value. That's it. Taking into account all the factors, both for and against me. But if you separate those two things, your method is ineffective. You cannot simply look at everything for me, and you cannot simply look at everything against me. And if you don't do so honestly, and with my well-being in mind, then so be it. Because his name was Robert Paulson. Believe it or not, I'm a pacifist. That's why I'm trying to grow these motherfucking plants, okay? It's not even a THC plant. It's a hemp plant. My genetics are geared towards growing plants. If I can't grow a plant, there's something wrong, and it's not just with me. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Because if it doesn't, we're going to have to start all over. His name was Robert Paulson. I'm not opposed to you people getting what you need personally to be satisfied in your own self. I want yourself to be satisfied. But when you do so at the severe cost of my own sanity and my ability to be satisfied, I tend to feel a bit upset. Especially when I'm trying to support you. That's all I'm doing. Yeah, I want to be satisfied also. But I don't want to be satisfied at the cost of your satisfaction. That doesn't do it for me. And if you being satisfied at the cost of my satisfaction does it for you, I suggest you change your ways. And if you take that as a threat, you're dumb. It's stupid. I'm not threatening you. It's very obvious. It's very obvious what will happen. His name was Robert Paulson. And if you think I'm insane, well, I did take a shower today, and I'm going to again. That's about as far as my insanity goes. I've been very hygienic. His name is Robert Paulson. So if there's some sort of insanity going on here, I didn't cause it. All right, now I'm going to take this plant next door. If you find any vulnerabilities or inconsistencies in my claims, feel free to try to exploit it because I am itching for a target. And I'm not scratching because I want it to hit. But if you'd care to be soothing so that I no longer itch, I would be glad to help you move along. His name was Robert Paulson.